You go to fill your kettle and you look down inside it, and there it is. That hard white crust coating the bottom and creeping up the sides. Chalky and rough, and flakes of it break loose and float in your water and end up in your tea. And your kettle takes longer and longer to boil, and you wonder if it is wearing out, and you think about buying a new one. Do not buy a new one. That crust is not damaged, and your kettle is not wearing out. It is the same thing that wrings your toilet and roughens your grout, and it comes off with a cheap jug from your kitchen and no scrubbing at all. And I am going to show you exactly how. I am Elias Yodar, and this is the third time I have come to you about this same white enemy. The toilet, the grout, and now the kettle. Because once you understand what it is, you can beat it anywhere it turns up. And that understanding is worth more than any one trick. My grandmother had a kettle she used her whole married life. One kettle, and it outlived 3 of the fancy modern ones my aunt went through in the same years. And it was not a better kettle. It was that my grandmother tended hers. Every so often she would give it its vinegar boil, keep it clean and clear inside, and it just went on, faithful as an old horse, while my aunt bought a new one every few years, because the last one had crusted up and quit or boiled so slow she lost patience with it. And my grandmother never said a word about it. But I saw the lesson plain as day, even as a boy. A thing tended lasts, and a thing neglected fails. And the difference is not the thing, it is the tending. We have got it into our heads now that when a thing stops working well, you throw it out and buy another. And the makers are glad enough to have us think so. But most things that quit did not wear out. They clogged or crusted or dried or rusted for want of a little care that would have taken 10 minutes. My grandmother's kettle was not magic, it was just cared for. And nearly everything in your house is the same. It will serve you far longer than you think if you will only tend it. And the tending is almost always cheaper and easier than the replacing. So let us tend this kettle. Let me say one thing, and then I will not bring it up again. I have gathered these old ways into a book over at eliasodar.com. If you want it, it is there. That is all. Now let us clean that kettle first, what that crust actually is, because it is the same lesson as the toilet, and it is worth driving home since it will serve you in a dozen places around the house. That white crust is limescale, and it is mineral, and it came out of your own water. Your water, unless it is very soft, carries dissolved minerals in it. Calcium, mostly picked up from the ground it traveled through. You cannot see them. The water looks perfectly clear. But when you boil that water, something happens. The heat drives those minerals out of the water and leaves them behind, deposited on the hot metal layer by layer every single time you boil. So your kettle, which boils water many times a day, is slowly plating itself with the mineral left behind from all that boiling, and that is the crust. It is essentially a thin, hard coat of stone laid down on your kettle by your own water, a little more with every cup of tea. And that is why it is worse in the kettle than almost anywhere, because the kettle is where you boil water on purpose over and over. And boiling is exactly what drives the mineral out and lays it down. The harder your water, the faster it builds. Folks on hard well water can crust up a kettle in weeks. Folks on soft water may hardly see it. But wherever there is any mineral in the water, the kettle catches it. And here's a thing worth knowing, that your kettle is actually telling you something true about your water if you read it. A kettle that scales up fast and thick is a kettle boiling hard water. Water heavy with mineral. And that same hard water is what wrings your toilet and spots your glasses and dries your skin and makes your soap refuse to lather. So if your kettle crusts quick, you have learned something about the water in your whole house. And it explains a dozen other little troubles you may have been blaming on other things. And a kettle that stays clean for years is telling you your water is soft and gentle, which is its own kind of good news. The kettle is a plain, honest gauge of your water sitting right there on your stove, and most folks never think to read it. Now you will. And I will tell you, there's no harm in the mineral itself to your health, none. It is calcium mostly, the very stuff of good bones and drinking hard water, never hurt anyone, and some say it does a little good. So we are not descaling for your health, we are descaling for your kettle's sake and your fuel and your tea. And I want to be honest about that, because you will see folks online make hard water sound like poison, and it is not. It is only a nuisance to your kettle and your plumbing, not a danger to you. Now, does it matter, or is it just ugly? It does matter a little in real ways. That crust of mineral on the bottom actually slows your boiling because it sits between the flame, or the element, and the water like a blanket, and the heat has to fight through the crust to reach the water. So, a badly scaled kettle wastes fuel or power and takes longer to boil. In an electric kettle, it is worse because the scale coats the very heating element and makes it work harder and hotter and wear out sooner. And a thick-scaled electric kettle can fail years before its time, and the flakes breaking loose into your drink are unpleasant. Though I will tell you honestly, they will not hurt you. It is only mineral. The same stuff that is in the water anyway, but nobody wants chalky bits in their tea. So it is worth taking off for your fuel, for your kettle's life, and for your tea. Now, how you take it off? And here is the whole simple secret, and it is the same one as the toilet ring. You do not scrub mineral scale. You cannot really. It is bonded on hard, and scrubbing barely touches it and only scratches your kettle. You dissolve it. And what dissolves the mineral scale is a mild acid. And the cheapest, safest mild acid in your house is plain white vinegar. Here is the method, and it could not be simpler. You fill your kettle about halfway with a mixture of equal parts white vinegar and water. Half vinegar, half water. For a lightly scaled kettle, you can use more water and less vinegar. For a badly crusted one, lean stronger on the vinegar. Make sure the vinegar water covers the worst of the scale. And if the crust climbs up high on the sides, fill it up enough to reach. Then you heat it. On a stovetop kettle, you set it on the stove and bring that vinegar water to a boil and then take it off the heat. On an electric kettle, you switch it on and let it come to the boil and click off. The heat speeds the acid up and gets it working fast into the scale. And if you would rather not boil it at all, or you have a light scale, you can skip the heat and simply pour in the vinegar water and let it sit cold, and it will still dissolve the scale just slower. So you leave it longer, a few hours or overnight. The heat only hurries it along. So a busy person can pour it in of an evening cold and leave it till morning, and it does its work in the night while you sleep. No watching required. Warm and quick or cold and slow. Either one gets you there. And here's a small thing to watch for that tells you it is working. When the acid meets the mineral scale, it often fizzes. A fine, quiet fizzing of tiny bubbles rising off the crusted places. And that fizzing is the very sound and sight of the scale dissolving, the acid eating into the mineral. So if you see and hear a soft fizzing when you pour the vinegar in on a heavy scale, that is good. That is the thing working before your eyes. And when the fizzing has stopped and gone quiet, that is often a sign the acid has done what it can, and either the scale is gone, or that batch of acid is spent and wants replacing with fresh for another round. And then, the important part, you let it sit. You leave that hot vinegar water sitting in the kettle and you walk away and you let it work. Give it a good while, half an hour at the least, an hour is better. And for a truly awful crust, you can let it sit a few hours, or even overnight. This is the same lesson as the grout in the toilet, that the acid needs time in contact with the scale to dissolve it, and time does the work your arm never could. The longer it sits, the more of that stone melts away into the water. And when you come back, you will find the crust has softened and loosened, and much of it has simply dissolved and gone. You pour out the vinegar water, and any bits that are loosened but clinging, you can now wipe away with a cloth or a soft brush with almost no effort because the acid has broken their grip. What was rock hard is now soft or gone. For a very heavy scale, if some remains, you simply do it again. Fresh vinegar, water, heat, and sit, and the second round takes the rest. Each round melts away another layer. And do not forget the spout and the lid, because scale loves to build right up in the spout where the water pours out, narrowing it so your kettle pours poorly and dribbles down its own chin, and up under the lid and around its rim. When you do your vinegar boil, swish it up into the spout. Tip the kettle about so the hot vinegar water reaches every crusted part, and let it soak those places too. And poke a bit of stiff wire, or an old brush up the spout if it is badly plugged after soaking. A kettle that pours clean and does not dribble is a small daily pleasure, and it is the descaled spout that gives it to you. And I will say, do not feel you must chase out every last speck to bare metal every time. The goal is a kettle that is clear enough to boil quick and not shed flakes into your tea, not a museum piece. Get the bulk of it, keep after it regularly, and a faint trace here or there does no harm at all. It is the thick crust that matters, so beat the crust and do not fret the film. Now, the step you must not skip, and I mean must not, you rinse it well, and then you boil a batch of plain fresh water in it and pour that out. And honestly, do that twice, because otherwise your next cup of tea tastes of vinegar, and there are a few things that spoil a good cup of tea faster than that. So, after the descaling, rinse it out thoroughly with clean water, then fill it with plain water and boil it and tip it out, and do that a second time to be sure. And now your kettle is clean and fresh and tastes of nothing but water. Again, do not skip the rinse. The rinse is part of the job. Now let me give you an honest alternative for those who do not like the smell of vinegar, because there is a good one, lemon. A lemon is also a mild acid. The acid that makes it sour is exactly the kind that dissolves scale, and it smells a great deal nicer. So you can cut up a lemon, squeeze its juice into the kettle, and drop the pieces in too. Fill with water and boil, and sit exactly the same as with the vinegar, and it works and leaves your kettle smelling fresh and clean. Or you can buy citric acid, which is a plain white powder. The very sourness of the lemon sold on its own. Cheap, and a spoonful of that in the water does the same job with no smell to rinse out at all. And many folks who descale often keep a bag of it for exactly this. Vinegar, lemon, or citric acid, they are all the same idea, a mild acid to melt the mineral. So use whichever you have and like. Now, since you have learned to beat this scale, let me show you the other places the very same enemy is hiding, because the same vinegar and the same understanding clears it everywhere. And once you have the eye for it, you will start seeing it all over your house. Your coffee pot, if you have the kind that heats water, scales up inside exactly like the kettle. And you descale it the same way. Run vinegar water through it, and then 2 batches of clean water to rinse. The steam iron, if you use one, crusts up inside and starts spitting brown flecks onto your clothes. And it is the same mineral cleared with vinegar water run through as the maker directs. The shower head going crusty, so the spray goes crooked and weak with half the holes plugged. That is the same scale, and you can unscrew it and soak it in vinegar or tie a bag of vinegar up around it overnight so it soaks, and the holes clear and your shower runs strong and straight again. The faucets with the crust around the spout, the bottom of pots that boil water. Even the dishwasher and the washing machine in hard water build this scale in their hidden parts, and a cup of vinegar, run through empty now and then, keeps them clear. It is all the same white mineral from the same hard water, and it all yields to the same mild acid. So, the thing you have learned today for your kettle is really a key that unlocks a dozen crusty problems around your house. That is what I meant when I said the understanding is worth more than the one trick. Now, the words of care, because there are a couple that matter. First, the electric kettle. If you have an electric kettle, keep the vinegar or lemon water to the inside where the water goes, and do not let it slop down onto the electrical base, or the plug, or the outside workings. And never set the base in water. Descale the inside. Keep the electrics dry and wipe up any spills. And do not run an electric kettle switched on with too little liquid in it. Keep the liquid above its minimum line while you boil the vinegar water, because an electric kettle is not made to run near dry and you can harm the element. A stovetop kettle is simpler, and you need only mind that you do not boil it dry. Second, a word for anyone with an old aluminum kettle, the lightweight silvery kind. Vinegar is fine in most kettles, the steel and the enamel and the electric ones, but a strong acid left sitting a very long time can pit and dull raw aluminum. So if yours is aluminum, do not leave the vinegar sitting in it overnight. Use it a bit weaker. Give it its half hour or its hour and then get it rinsed out and it will be fine. Just do not forget a strong vinegar batch in an aluminum kettle for 2 days. And the plain safety of hot liquid, which I will always say that vinegar water comes to a boil and is scalding hot. And vinegar water boils and spits a little more than plain water sometimes. So mind your hands and your face. Pour it out carefully away from you and keep the little ones clear while you do it. The same as with any boiling. Now, the prevention, which is the same wisdom I gave you for the toilet and the grout, because it completes the trilogy, and it is the truest thing of all. It is far, far easier to keep the scale from building than to battle it once it is thick. So, do not wait until your kettle is a cave of crust. Descale it regularly, a quick vinegar boil every few weeks or once a month, depending on how hard your water is and how much you use it. And the scale never gets a chance to build into that hard, thick stone. And each cleaning is a 5 and at nothing instead of an overnight battle. And a couple of small daily habits help too. Do not leave water standing in the kettle between uses. Tip it out, because water sitting and slowly drying is water leaving its mineral behind. So empty your kettle after you use it, and it scales far slower. And if your water is very hard, understand, as I told you with the toilet, that this will keep coming back because the mineral is in the water itself. So regular descaling is simply part of keeping house on hard water, not a sign you did anything wrong. Now, who profits from you not knowing this? And I will say it, careful as always, because I am not telling you there's a scheme. It is quieter than that. A scaled-up kettle that boils slow and eventually fails is a kettle you replace. And there is good money in you buying a new kettle every few years, because the old one crusted up and quit when a jug of vinegar would have kept it going for 20. And there are special descaling powders and tablets sold in bright packets for several dollars. And they are, a great many of them, simply citric acid, the sour of a lemon, sold at 10 times the price of the plain bag of it. Nobody makes $1 telling you that vinegar or a cut lemon does the very same thing for pennies. So the plain old knowing just quietly stopped being passed down, not because anyone hid it, but because there was no profit in the telling. The knowing grew over like a path nobody walks. Well, let us walk it again. Here's what I would ask of you. Go look in your kettle right now, and if you see that white crust, do not wait. Tonight, fill it half with vinegar and water, bring it to a boil and let it sit while you sleep, and pour it out and rinse it well and boil it clear in the morning. And see your kettle come back to bright clean metal like the day you bought it. And then come down to the comments and tell me whether you were on a well or on town water and how bad your kettle had crusted up, because the hard water folks have the worst of this in the kettle, just as they do in the toilet. And it does them good to hear they are not alone in it. I read them all. And the next time we sit down together, we are going to talk about how to keep your food cold without a refrigerator, the way folks did for all the years before. There was an electric box in every kitchen, the spring house and the cold cellar and the cool of the deep earth. the old ways of keeping milk and butter and meat fresh with no power at all. It is a fine old knowledge and worth having, whether the power goes out or you simply want to lean on it less. So understand that white crust is mineral scale from your own water and not damage. Dissolve it with a mild acid and never scratch at it. Half vinegar and half water brought to a boil and left to sit, or cut lemon or a spoon of citric acid if you like it sweeter smelling. Rinse it well and boil it clear twice after, so your tea tastes of nothing but tea. Mind the electrics, and go easy on old aluminum, and above all, descale it regularly, so it never builds thick again. The people who built this country with their hands knew that, and we are only just starting to remember